Welcome back to the JoshMata podcast. Before I start this episode, I'd like to get into our ads. First off, we have code JOSH10 at comfortfitness.store. If you're looking for new gym apparel, they're a great website to check out. Again, that's Josh10, Josh10 at comfortfitness.store. Make sure to go check out my previous episode with Jack Granger if you're into more gym content. Follow me on Instagram at officialjoshmata and YouTube at joshmata. Today I'd like to welcome my guest, my dad.
Hey son, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. Just got done with the gym.
Alright, so what's new with your podcast idea?
It's all in the works. It's way more work than I thought it was going to be. I got a bunch of pilot episodes, a bunch of clips.
The fans are wondering when it's going to be coming out. It's been years.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 years. It's been a 2-year project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is awesome that you're doing this, man. This is really cool.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you. Let's get into it. What do you want to talk about?
So I was thinking for the first topic to go over is we can talk about what your vision for your podcast will be.
That's a great question. Really, I'm just moved by the amazing father that I have, recognizing it coming out of my past that you know about. I've been sober now for almost 12 years. Really grateful for the life that I have, the father that I had growing up. And another thing that really moves me is the lack of fathers out there. Because you know that my life teetered on whether you had a dad or not. Life was pretty messed up for a while. The day you were born, I received you into my hands. It was an incredible situation, but I was high as a kite. I was off planet. Obviously, a day I'll never forget. But I'm also grateful that the Lord pulled me out of that. But as far as a vision for a podcast, it's kind of gone all over the place in the last couple of years. It was just a cool idea that I shared with you. I've shared it with friends, and everybody's in support of this idea of just encouraging fathers to come back to fatherhood, to continue in their fatherhood. So I really don't know where it's going to go. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool to see from the outside, but time is taking you.
I know. Yeah, thanks for the pressure.
And then I also would like to bring up, like, from our last episode we did, is there anything new that we could bring up to the audience?
The last episode you and I did,
yeah.
That was like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think I was 16.
Wow, that really... I didn't prepare anything for this, by the way. I know you expected me to, but I got all this jumbled stuff and all my notebooks and stuff. I thought I'm just going to come over and have a conversation with my son.
No, that's fine. It's more natural.
I hope so. Anything new? I don't know. I am still on the sober train. I am super sober, as you know, right? I've even given up energy drinks. It's been like 4 months.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. So now I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I imagine I'm probably going to give that up pretty soon too. I don't know why. It's the constant challenge, right?
Yeah.
Anything new? Not really. Not really. A lot of work. You know that. We've been doing some cool trips. I'm super proud of you for hitting that goal and doing your first show where we did out in Orlando.
Yeah, that was super fun.
That was super fun. That was super cool. To watch how nervous he got, that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. First time experience.
Yeah.
And for the audience that has not seen the last episode, I would like to also bring up a question again that I brought up in that episode, which is, if there's any fathers out there watching right now, what would your advice be to them?
Obviously, this podcast... So I guess, to answer your first question, now that I'm thinking about it, again, this is all top of my head, man.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought me over here to your place since you've moved out. My podcast is faith-based, 100%. Nothing that nothing I've accomplished has ever been done without the grace of God. So that's, I'm going to lose my train of thought real quick because I'm a talker. So
go ahead.
You reel me in if you need to. As far as a message to fathers is, it is worth the fight. It is worth the struggle. It is life and death. I believe that our nation, that our country is under attack. Spiritually, obviously, I think that the divisions are out there. It's plain as day. Where do you stand? Where do you draw the line? I think that's all by design, son. I think that it's all a distraction, and it's meant to take away any faith in this world that we have. So, that being said, I think we need to get back to praising the Lord. I think I've been so amazed just by submitting myself more and more, making it a point to read every day, even if it's a proverb a day, like I've shared with you, man. Just get in there first, get that done, get it out of the way. Not like a chore, but to get your mind right, to understand where everything comes from. Is that nothing comes by chance. We have to work and fight for everything that we have, especially today. I know a lot of people, unfortunately today, would choose not to have children or choose to go even the opposite way, which we can get into if you want.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm pro-life, so you know what I'm talking about. It's really unfortunate how dehumanized, how dehumanizing we can be to each other, to unborn children. But we're called to be here in this time. You're called to be here in this time. It hurts me in some ways, that like my poor son, and you have 3 brothers. You have 3 brothers. How many other brothers do you have? You have one more brother from your mom?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know you've talked about your story here. We have to fight. It's time to fight for our faith. It's time to fight for our children.
No, yeah, you bring up some good points with, like, topics on manhood, and it's something that we've seen across centuries, just since the beginning of time, that it's never changed, the dehumanizing in culture. So, and then you brought up the good point, how we got placed here. So, how do you think manhood should be placed into today's society?
Manhood in today's society is lacking. Your rug's messing me up, dude. I'm too OCD for this. Yeah, you know what? That distraction right there. I think we're too comfortable. I think that our society's become way too relaxed and way too comfortable. And I mean in the West. I mean here specifically in America. Yeah. We have everything we could ever want. What a blessing. What a beautiful country we get to live in. Yeah. I don't care what anybody else says. You know my story. I came here from Los Angeles out here to Colorado. We love Colorado. But before that, that's not a struggle. This was what an amazing place. All I brought was my bad habits and my mountain bike, and my little bit of faith that I still held on to after getting saved. Yeah. But really it lies, I want to bring it back to my dad. It took him 3 days to cross that Mexican-American border just at the promise of a job, a place to stay, and he ran with it. He met my mom, your grandmother, and they built a life. Look at the house they get to live in, dude. This is incredible.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, again, I'm gonna lose my train of thought here, but manhood, we're too comfortable. We're way too comfortable. I think we have to make it a point to make ourselves, I don't mean this in a ridiculous way, make ourselves uncomfortable, but we need to challenge ourselves. We need to challenge our way of thinking. Why are we so divided? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. But it's clear. It's clear where it's not going. It's not going well.
Yeah. Right? So. Yeah. No, I was thinking about that the other day too. Like with how comfortable like the world has been placed to us. Yeah. It wasn't intended to be like that, obviously. So like, I was thinking, we can never really reach what God really wanted us to get to after the fall of man. Sure. So we'll never actually commit to what God actually intended, because it'll never be right until he returns. Sure. And it takes those things, like you said, to make you uncomfortable. And I've heard of some examples, especially with like fitness, keeping your mind right, and even things as simple as like cold baths, just to have like that mental focus on controlling your body.
That doesn't sound simple, by the way.
Oh yeah, no.
This has been a long journey for me.
Yeah.
No, I get. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, how do we challenge ourselves out of our comfort zone?
Yeah, what were some ways that you challenged yourself out of comfort?
I think what most recently, and I've shared this with you before, was the 2-day fast. I had never done that before. I've done intermittent fasting. It's all vanity. I'm getting older, so I want to make sure I don't let my body get out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay strong. I have a big family I need to take care of, so there's all the practical reasons. But I committed to a 2-day fast, and it was one of the most incredible things I ever did. I know I shared it with you. And for 2 days, for exactly 48 hours, it was for your birthday, remember?
Yeah.
We had that last meal at that super cool restaurant.
Yeah.
We went to Smokin' Fins out in Arvada.
Oh, yeah.
Super good. Remember, I had a steak. I think I had ordered 2 entrees, like always. But that was a decision that I made, and then fully supported by the Lord. And I don't know if I shared this with you. I may have, because I talk so damn much, but when my reading through the gospel, just reading through Matthew, I decided a while back, I'm just going to read through the gospels and spend time with Jesus on a daily basis. Now I'm in Mark, really soaking it in slowly. But at the time, when I decided I'm going to do a fast because of some other circumstances in my life, some other things that I struggle with, I just needed to pause and stop, stay off the phone, stay away from what is my absolute comfort, is just eating all the time. I love eating, we grew up eating Mexican food every day.
Yeah.
But that 48 hours, every time I was hungry, I read the word. And the first time when I just picked up where I left off, it was when Jesus was tempted for 40 days. So it really set the pace. It was clear as day. This is from the Lord. Look at what your Savior had to go through.
Yeah.
He chose to do that. He chose to go out into the wilderness for 40 days. I couldn't even do 2 days. Like I accomplished it.
Yeah.
But it was a stretch. I had never done anything like that before. I encourage anybody to do that. 48 hours, 24. You did 24, right? 48. For some reason, for me, that was the, because you can get over the one day. We've all had that day of work where you don't get any breaks, you don't get anything to eat, you don't get to eat till you get home. So that's not really out of the norm.
Yeah.
With a man's job, working physical. I work in a factory. Stuff happens. So that second day was what really broke me, to be able to help my wife with serving dinner at the table, and then I went upstairs and read. It was pretty hard. It was pretty difficult, but it taught me that I do have some grip of self-control over those things I struggle with. So I don't know if it's appropriate to get into those, but
no, yeah.
But it's a struggle, man.
Yeah.
It's a struggle as a man today. It's so prevalent. Everything is so over sexualized. Everything it's too easy.
Yeah,
it's too
just
easy.
pushed in our face.
Excuses are too easy. The fitness is not. It's for you and I is not a big deal. This is just our day to day.
Yeah.
We work out almost every day. It's just a way of life. Your brothers are following that path, which is really cool. But the spiritual aspect, man, that's the one that it's easy to read a little bit. It's really easy to remember, forget. Oh dang, oh right, I got to read that. But making it a priority has been hard, but it's also been so rewarding, man. I mean, you're blessed enough to have your Sundays off, so it's encouraging to know you're at church every Sunday.
Yeah.
When I get to go, because my schedule's weird, but I can't get through a worship service without tearing up, man. It's humbling.
No, yeah, it's moving.
Yeah.
And so I have one more question before I get to another one. That is, so I know from my perspective of the last 12 years and then the 18 years of everything that happened, where you said it teetered between not having a father and then everything changing. And then to when I was like 12 years old and you found your new job, and I think our family even changed more after that, closer to God. So, and I've talked about it before, but I think we should hear your side of the story
Sure.
instead of from the son.
That you were about 12 years old. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I didn't connect your age at that time. That's a kind of a pivotal time. Yeah, I worked in the grocery industry for 17 and a half years total.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough income to where I could keep my wife home to help raise the kids in what we had decided is like in a godly home,
Mm-hmm.
without mom having to step out and leave kids in daycare and stuff. And it was literally an answer to prayer. Then I remember, I was a produce manager for a long time, and I was working at a particular location that I won't say it, but I'm in my produce department, and I was really irritated with what they were asking me to do was against my morals. I knew their reasons, and it was very difficult to reconcile, like, should I do that just to get to our goal versus if it goes south, that's going to be on me. I was struggling with a lot, like with integrity issues. As far as my career went, I felt I'd made a mistake by going to this new company.
Mm-hmm.
Still in the grocery, but let me think. I was standing in my produce department, and I was in this kind of prayer mode, kind of upset, kind of what else? Like this can't be it, Lord. This can't be. I have no idea what you have for me. And right then, this guy walks up. I couldn't tell you what he looked like. Tall guy. And it kind of bugged me because he obviously was trying to get my attention, right? And I'm Mr. Happy. I'm Mr. Personable guy. So I kind of snapped out of it. Hey, what can I help you find? And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? He was asking me about like this and that, and it was kind of irritating. And he knew. I think he knew that he was just asking dumb questions or whatever. Like whatever. He kind of recognized that I was kind of rubbed the wrong way. And he said, you know what? I'm getting ready to retire. I just want to try some new stuff, man. I just want to try it. So then I really snapped out of it, and got back to what I do best is just, kind of love on people and try to reach people where they're at, which is a God-given gift for sure. And out of that conversation, he said, you know what? All right, I asked him, like, what do you do? I work for such and such company. I'm getting ready to retire. I think they're hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know I was looking for a job. That's just what he said. Went on with his life. I couldn't even tell you what he looked like. And I text my wife, hey, this company, we were sending resumes out everywhere just to see what God had for us. And a month later, I get a call from their HR. Hey, can I come in for an interview? Of course, I go in, suited up. I love doing that kind of stuff. And the salary that they were offering was literally an answer to prayer. It was, we were going to be able to save. We were going to be able to live a life of not absolute comfort, but we were where we needed to be so we can continue living our life and growing our children. But that was pretty weird experience. No, now I've been there for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Almost 8 years.
Yeah.
I still like it. I still love it. There's aspects that I don't like about it, but that's you guys know that's normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pivotal point in my life, man. To be, I said I worked in a factory. I remember first starting out there and realizing how much money I was making compared to being topped out at less than that, and being so thankful. I was in the rear end of this factory, literally, and I was so thankful. Like, I would do this for the rest of my life if you just continue to take care of my family. If it's through me working really hard or whatever you have, but a true blessing, just an answer to prayer. That was a pretty big change in our life.
Yeah.
Just to put myself out there, to kind of test the water, see what else was going on. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, yeah. And with the whole workforce thing, as a believer,
Yeah.
where do you think Christians nowadays, outside of manhood, like the first question, is where do you think we should stand in the world with everybody's individual gifts?
That's a good question.
And I mean that from a father perspective, because you're raising all of us. How would you tell the audience, like, that doesn't know where they're at from a father perspective, like what you would tell us as how we should go out into the world as an example of Christ.
That's a great, man. I'm impressed with how prepared you are for this. I try not to compare myself to other people, but it's right in our faces, man. I can see a lot of guys that I work with that maybe are kind of defeated. Things have not gone well in their life. There's divorce. There's wayward children, prodigal sons and daughters. I would encourage you to take an inventory of your life. Take an inventory of what other people see in you. I've very painful to do this. You can ask people you work with. You ask people that are close to you. What could I do different that's better? Mm-hmm. And you would be shocked as what other people view you as. Not fun conversations. A friend of mine recently, I've had a number of those conversations with him in particular, and it kind of hurt. It hurt to know that, like, hey, these are some of the things that I see you lacking. And I'm talking just work-wise,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then even further than that, to come alongside other Christian men and, hey, man, what do you see in my life? What do you see in my life that could go different? What do you think about the state of families, asking questions, my son moving out. I asked a bunch of guys that had already been through that mm-hmm. years ago or had just gone through it. One of my friends, Dave, his son went to the military. That was super hard for him, but necessary, right? Mm-hmm. So I'd just take an inventory of what are you bringing to work? What are you bringing home? Mm-hmm. Who are you when you're at work? Who are you when you're home? These are difficult things for me. I can lose my train of thought so quickly.
Yeah. So like, you answered the first part, but the second part was if like to the young guys watching, because that is like the majority of the audience.
Yeah.
Is like and if they don't have a good father figure at home, or if they do, they still might not know, like, what a father figure would tell them, like, to chase their dreams, Yeah. Because you have to work and, like,
sure,
provide as a man or even as a female, and it's all about being independent, but there's, like, the personal life, What would you, like, if they came to you as if me or my brothers or sisters do, like, with things we want to, like, go and
sure.
achieve, with things like the show, or whatever.
That's a good question, man. That's I'm impressed at how good you're doing this with. This is really. I was hoping this would just be a conversation with us. I'm glad it's going this way. You came to me and said you wanted to make music, right?
Yeah.
And it was pretty impressive. It was pretty cool, and obviously I wanted to support that 100%, but I also wanted to be careful that I wasn't coddling you, right? So I know you asked me a different question, but but this is relevant where you're really having fun with it. Man, I saw you just really diving into a passion, and I kind of had a choice, right? Like, and I came to you and I said something along the lines of like, it sounded weird, but I know you understood afterwards. It was, your music's not going to take you anywhere. It's not going to do anything for you, mm-hmm. right? And you were kind of like, what? But the point was, and I clarified, I said, what are you going to do with your music? How are you going to set yourself up to just not rely on just the passion, but you still got to sustain yourself. You still have to work. You still have to be able to do these things. Where are you going to take your music? Where are you going to take, as your children find their passion, encourage them in a realistic way that they know that it's not going to be easy. Just because you love what you do, it's still not going to be easy. It's a little more enjoyable, mm-hmm. obviously. Like Florida, what a blast that was. How cool was that?
Yeah.
The show, the venue is
pretty
questionable, but pretty trashy. But it is what it is, man. I mean, I was so happy. Like, I see my son up there, and the first thing you did was give your testimony. You gave thanks to the Lord. It was that's we could have left right there. That was cool with me. That was super cool. You were honest about coming from a divorced household. Those with young children, having a clear head now, being sober this long, your little sisters in particular. Now they're the youngest.
Yeah.
I see how valuable it is to be sweet, to be kind, to be patient with them, to watch your tone. You can still be a stern father, but I think we need to cherish the moments that we're given. I've shared this a few times. One of the coolest experiences I've ever had was coming out of drug use, alcoholism, and all that stuff that you know about. I gave up mountain biking. It's something I used to do. I'd get a little high for everything, obviously, but that was something that I was introduced to pretty young, and I gave it up for about 3 years until you were a little older. I bought you a mountain bike, and I went up. We finally time to get back into it, and the sky was blue. You were ahead of me, and you were little, dude. You were small, and I'll never forget the realization that I would have missed out on that. I would have missed out on the special moment where I saw how precious you were. I saw, man, this is my lineage. This is who's going to carry my name. So don't miss out on those little moments, man. This is when we were in Florida, and we were walking around, and I'd come up and grab his hand on the side, like I was holding his hand like a child. And it's silly, right? It's so funny, right? But
Oh yeah.
but deep in my heart, like, I wish I could. Honestly, like, if I was walking with my dad, with your grandfather, I'd hold his hand. I would. I don't even care what anybody says. I love my dad. I love everything that he's done for us, for me and my brother and my sisters, my brothers and my sister. It's precious, and I say that with a clear mind today, because I like speaking about other guys. Like, there's men in my life that I know that grew up with no dad. If they had a chance to have one day with the dad that they were supposed to have, they would carry that fact. They would carry and kiss and hold. And it's hard to talk about, but I think it's important, man, to realize how lucky I am, how lucky we are that are young parents. I'm not a young dad, but yeah, even right now it's kind of hard to talk about, but I don't care. I don't care, man. I say, enjoy the days, enjoy the nights that you have with your children, because it goes away quick, and they grow up and they're out of the house, and you worry about them. I worry about you all the time. That's another opportunity too for me. It's just kind of crazy that as those worries come up, are you driving too fast, are you chasing the girls, are you doing, it's an opportunity for me to pray.
Yeah.
Because Jesus tells us, man, don't worry about that. I got that. I gave you that son. I'm going to take care of him. You did what you could do. And just pray about everything. That's hard. It's really hard for me, but that's my hope right there.
Yeah.
That other men would realize this, that this is what we have, man, is our faith. We have the hope of salvation, right? The promise of salvation. And we do our best to share that with our kids, so that, dude, this rug. You know, what better gift to give your children that no matter what happens in this world, no matter what tragedies come along, we're going to lose loved ones. Tragically, situations like with your younger brother at his school, awful situations that we have to live through, we'll see each other again. There is a hope, no matter what happens here, that if we follow the Lord, we will be reunited in a whole way.
Yeah.
And there's no better promise. I can't let go of that. And you know my past. I've dabbled in other religions. My family, we were Buddhists for a long time, for years, which is kind of weird to think back on that. And when I had the opportunity to confess my sins to Christ, it was incredible. It literally changed my life. And I was young. I was your age. I was 18 years old. But to confess these sins, even at 18 years old, and to hear back, I forgive you, I automatically, it's like, did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just confessed? Like why wouldn't I commit my whole life to something like that, to a promise that would forgive me, someone like me? Like, there's no turning back. There's no, so this project of coming up with a podcast just to share my thoughts, it'd be cool to invite people in, like how you're doing.
Yeah.
There's really nothing left for me to do but just to share my faith with young men, with men. Yeah. I know I'm long-winded, but
I mean, that's really all the questions I had when it came to interrogating you, but
interrogate me, right? What do you want to
on
know?
the spot, but yeah,
Okay. All right. What about you, man? How have you been?
good.
Any dates lately?
Not yet.
All right. Okay. All right. There's something interesting about Josh is he will not talk to me about his love life, which is fine. I respect it. But he talks to my wife about it, which is kind of cool. At least there's an avenue where I get a version of it that's appropriate, so it doesn't violate what you're doing, right?
Yeah, it is different.
No, because I'm not like any dad. Remember, dude? I remember I was so mad at you. I don't even remember what I was mad at you about for. It was a couple years ago, and I got in your face and I said, "You picked the wrong dad." Something like that. You gave me that confused look. Like, wait, what? But it is, in a sense, it's true because from your young childhood, I've encouraged you. I've taught you to pray. Pray for me. Pray for the people you love. I'm not perfect, so you got to pray for me. I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
And God answered those prayers, man. There's no turning back. There's no turning back on my faith. It was so profound when I gave my life to the Lord that it changed the whole trajectory of my family. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister.
Yeah,
And
I I see it impacting everybody.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that God used me. That
Yeah.
all the pain that I caused my family, all the worry, I was what I was.
Yeah.
And now now it's not. It's certain things I still struggle with, but my faith is what sustains me 100%. I really want to convey that to young fathers that we don't get a lot of second chances, man.
Yeah. And I feel like that's like definitely been my biggest message on my podcast is that it's not like when you become a Christian or even when you start having faith, it's not that you just like become perfect,
Right.
It's like I was a mess and now I'm a mess, but I have the Holy Spirit.
Correct.
You're not a new guy.
Right.
No,
we're a new creation, which is freeing in some ways. Similar to like when I committed to that fast, it was freeing to know that I do have a certain amount of strength over what holds me back. I could say no. And that really showed me, man. You know what? I have more strength through the Lord than I give myself credit for.
Yeah.
I have to give myself credit for sticking to those things. So
I
don't want to take the glory away from the Lord, but
I mean, it is like you got to give yourself up, and that's what you've always taught us,
Yeah. We were in Florida.
Yeah.
And after the show, the next day, right? And I was like, we need to stop for a second. You need to realize that, because it was expensive, right? It was a big treat. It was really cool to go out and do all that. And we go watch a super cool movie. I was like, Josh, this is a culmination. This would not have happened without all your hard work. Like, you've earned this. You've worked hard enough to get to this point. Like, this isn't just like some lavish thing we're doing. We're not just coming out here blowing money.
Yeah. And I never saw it in that perspective until you said that.
But it's true, man.
Yeah.
It's true. You really committed to your craft, and first thing you did on that stage, man, I got to say it again, you gave glory to the Lord, man. How cool was that? We met that other Christian couple.
Yeah. They were so cool.
It was so cool, man.
Yeah, shout out to Relentless Hope.
Relentless Hope.
Yeah.
We totally met them. How do we get in contact with those people?
I have them on Instagram.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was really cool to see, man. Really cool to see you up there pouring your heart out and singing your songs. Yeah, it was. It was really cool, man.
Yeah.
What else you got for me?
I mean, whatever you want to talk about.
What do your notes say? What do they say?
That was just like the sponsorships.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to talk about. But
do you have a name for your podcast yet?
I have some ideas. I don't, other than the Generation Dad podcast. I got my friend Joe, who 100% supports me, was technically my first sponsor.
Yeah.
Gave me an envelope with Generation Dad on there, and I opened it up months later, and there's a blessing in there that I won't say what it was, but it was unexpected that this guy has that much faith in me. So there's my dad out there, still raising his grandchildren. He's still raising his grandchildren, man. It's
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It really is, man. It really is to see my dad. Can I share a quick story about my dad?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
was an idea I had for the podcast, but I'll just spit it out right here real quick. Um, my car was going out, remember?
Yeah.
And you know the story. Because I've filmed the pilot episode and it didn't come out like I wanted it to, but um, Papa sells me the car, that old little Corolla, got good gas mileage. I still have it. And like a few weeks later, because I'm a procrastinator, I start cleaning it out and I see these scriptures on there, written on these receipts, right? And it just like, John whatever, John this, John that, Romans, all in Spanish. And I was gonna throw them away, and I thought, wait, this is pretty unique, right? How many people get the opportunity to do that and find this treasure in their dad's car? So I just picked one random. And it was John. I can't remember what it was. I have it written down. I still have the receipt. John something something, and I looked it up, and it was Jesus reprimanding the Pharisees and the Sadducees and telling them. They were kind of drilling him, like, "Hey, who are you? Basically, what is this? What is going on?" And he tells them straight out. They're asking him, "Are you Moses? Are you Elijah? What are you?" Like calling him out, and he says to them, and I'm paraphrasing, dad translation, of course. I am that I am. Right before Moses was, I am, and it struck me so hard that this particular scripture is talking about something that I've studied before is the triunity of the Lord and Trinity, and Jesus was, he is, and he will be. My dad is telling me in this roundabout way, he doesn't even know that he's telling me before I was born, I was on the Lord's mind. While I have my father, I am on the Lord's mind, and even when my dad is gone someday, I'll still have Jesus. I'll still have that, it's pretty incredible, man. I treasure those old receipts, Walmart receipts, liquor, not liquor store. I had liquor store receipts back in the day. No, like grocery store receipts. What I'm thinking about, just random stuff, man. I saw in there some invoices for the youngest brother that we have. He's in his early 20s. I'm 42. My dad paying off his braces, like a receipt for like $1,200, a receipt for $400, like just big receipts, man. My dad's still doing it, still taking care of his kids. I got big shoes to fill, so that's just a quick story I wanted to share. That's
Yeah. No.
It's really prompted me to even get down to scripting some stuff for this podcast if it ever happens. But yeah, that's
I think it's what started all of our generation.
It did.
The hard work, working 2 jobs, and
for a long time.
Yeah.
Papa working 2 jobs.
And now it's like, it's not on us, but it is like, it's just in us now, I feel
right.
like. Yeah.
Right. In the same way that I can call you up to like, hey, what are you going to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
My father can say to me too, hey, I worked my butt off, like to the bone, blood and tears and sweat. What are you going to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
I can squander it like I was on my way to doing, or I can stop and take an inventory of my life, man. Where can I go? What can my wife and I do to better our family? What can we do to share our faith, to come alongside other people that are struggling, or to reach out for help when I'm struggling? That I meet with Kevin. I met with him last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've been going to counseling for a number of years, and which I encourage any man to do, man. Don't be prideful. I know it sounds weird. Yes, I've sat down with a therapist and it's been a crying mess. To where I can joke around like, I'm not going to cry at work. I'm not going to cry here.
Yeah.
Because I pay $140 an hour to cry with this dude. But there's a payoff, man. I go see Kevin and I have a conversation. I can talk about those painful things, and it's not something that destroys me anymore. It's something that I can really work through, and carry on, man. As men have to do. We're the ones that are called to go to war. We're the ones that are called to provide for our family. Not that women can't, but let's face it, man. We have a calling. If you're healthy, if you're able, you better be working your butt off.
Yeah.
And you better be taking your children before the Lord, because that's who gave them to us.
Yeah. No, yeah, you bring that up. Yeah. I don't think I've ever told you this, but like I think the most inspirational thing that you've ever told me, I don't know if you've told the other siblings probably, but is when I leave the house, I'm representing you. That'll probably be the one thing that I will always remember.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Like a temptation will show up or whatever, and like that'll be what I'll think about.
Interesting. That's really cool to hear you say that, man.
Because I mean, if you were still living like a different life, then it wouldn't apply.
I probably wouldn't be alive today. Honestly.
Yeah. So yeah, it wouldn't be any like set standard, and not even a standard. It wouldn't be like something I would aspire for.
Sure.
To be able to die to myself,
Yeah.
The way I've seen you do it. So.
Thank you, son. That's encouraging to hear you say that. That's really cool.
That's the plan, is to represent.
Yeah, to represent the family.
The last name everywhere I go.
Right. And it sounds kind of trivial, like it's a prideful family thing.
Yeah, it's kind of corny, but yeah.
But we represent the whole family of Christ, man. So there's a reason for that. I'm glad you remember that. That's really cool. I do say it to your brothers.
Yeah.
Appropriate age, of course.
Yeah.
They're little. Some of them are getting bigger. Yeah, man, that's all I got. Unless you want to keep talking nonsense, I don't know.
No, I mean, we can end it now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to talk about aliens or something? Whatever.
We can do that on the other podcast.
Let's save that for the next one, because we got some stuff to hash out, you and I.
Yeah.
With, like Stanley Kubrick, right?
You guys want to hear conspiracies? I have a second podcast called Joshmata Behind the Script.
There it is.
Where
there it is.
Go all over the place.
Let's save that for that. Let's save this for the Lord.
Yeah. I mean, I still talk about whatever on here. I'm not a Christian to hold back, but
we're not supposed to be, man.
Yeah. And that's that. I see that so much in this world. But
right? How many Christians do you know that hold back, that are afraid to ask questions?
It's with such dumb things too,
Right. I know what you're talking about, yeah. But yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you for having me over here at your place. How cool is this? My son, his own place. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dreaded it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, but it is what it is. That's something I learned in counseling.
Mm-hmm.
At first, we're responsible for our children, and at a certain point, we're responsible to our children. We got to let them go and allow you to come back and ask for help. Let it happen, right? Now show me what you got. Show me what you're gonna do with what I've given you, right? Just like my dad to me. So
yeah,
that's all I got with that. You need to get to bed.
Yeah, I do.
Right?
Yeah, got work tonight. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in today. I'll see you guys next week.